Trolls Toys, figure reviews, unboxings and rankings, random figure reviews, similar groupings of figures, and the occasional toy hunt. All right. YouTube Trolls Toys back at you with another episode of this week's Toy Haul, episode 74. And last week, you saw that we picked up USA Duke loose from That's Entertainment in Worcester because I didn't think I'd ever find him in the package. But we just happened upon the Walmart website at the right day and the right time to get him for $27.97. You could only order one. So it works out. Now we have him on card. USA 250th anniversary Duke coming into the collection. Came in loose last week, now on card. So we'll get him hung up with the rest of our other retro card Joes. Obviously, happy to add him, as I mentioned last week. Not my favorite figure, but Conrad S. Hauser, role first sergeant, primary specialty airborne infantryman, secondary specialty artillery, small arms armorer, birthplace St. Louis, Missouri. Graduated top of his class at airborne school. After running 4 different special forces schools, he turned down a commission to instead serve as acting first sergeant of G.I. Joe. He believes in leading by example, which is why he's always alongside his troops in the thick of battle. We're the good guys and they're the bad guys. The job of the good guys is to put the bad guys out of business. So I am happy to have him on card. I would have rather just had him on card and saved my money on the loose one. But here nor there, that's how the cookie crumbled. So we have him on card and loose now. Went and saw Toy Story in Marlborough, Massachusetts with my boys, Toy Story 5 on Tuesday night. They're 21 and 18, but we've seen all the other Toy Stories. So always swing by the Target in Marlborough, which is right next to the movie theater, and we were able to pick up this new, I believe he's Target exclusive, Hacksaw Jim Duggan Ultimate, I believe, correct? I could be wrong, but anyway, the new Hacksaw Jim Duggan Ultimate. I was going to pass on this, but he came with so many different head sculpts, couple of different 2x4s, the flag. I decided to pick him up. So Ultimate Hacksaw coming into the collection. Height 6'3" from Glens Falls, New York. Finisher 3-point stance clothesline. Career highlights: WCW United States Champion, Hall of Fame inductee. When Hacksaw Jim Duggan raises the stars and stripes of Old Glory above his head on his way to the ring, you better believe he is ready to beat his opponent up with a heart full of patriotism. If things get out of hand, his trusty old 2x4 is always within reach. Tough guy. Oh! And I do have the basic version of this where he has the American flag face paint from when he teamed with Demolition. So I think I'm going to try that head sculpt on this Ultimate. And maybe put him with Demolition, because I wasn't the biggest Hacksaw fan, let's be honest. But, like I said, he came with so many different alternate head sculpts and so many accessories. He was hard to pass up when he was there hanging on the pegs. All right, also arriving from Walmart.com. Been collecting these WWE Street Fighters. So we got Dirty Dominic Mysterio as Ken. Happy to add him. Finisher the Frog Splash from San Diego, California. Height 6'1", weight 200 pounds. You're going to see Yokozuna as E Honda next. I did pass on this Player 2 Ultimate Warrior. I have the regular Ultimate Warrior, or Ultimate Warrior is the regular Blanca. I don't need that Player 2 variant. But here's Yokozuna as E Honda, right? So couldn't pass him up. Finisher Bonsai Drop from Japan, height 6'4", weight 589 pounds. Obviously, we all know that he wasn't from Japan because he's part of the Anawahi family of the Rock and Roman Reigns and the Usos and all that. But hey, nonetheless, happy to add these two to the collection. I keep these in box. I haven't bothered buying seconds of any of these. I just like the way they look. I've been buying seconds of the Jada Toy Street Fighter figures, the actual Street Fighters, so that we could have one of those to open. But these guys will just stay in box. All right, as you know, I'm not huge on comics, but I did pick up the Lady Death and Vampirella figures by Executive Replicas, Loose Collector, Coffin Comics. So we picked up this Hell Witch. She comes with alternate chest, so I'll leave that to your imagination. But I think she is the adversary of Lady Death. And then we picked up the daughter of Lady Death. And this is one that I thought was long sold out. I had it on reorder. Pre-order, I guess you'd call it, her and Lady Satanis from Big Bad Toy Store. But she was in stock on Executive Replica's website, so we picked up Chaotica, who's the daughter of Lady Death. It says, Chaotica, the daughter of Lady Death, and the Black Knight Ravenheart, Vivian, and her twin brother Gunnar were kidnapped by the demon sorcerer Seos months after their birth. Through unknown circumstances, she was separated from her brother and adopted by a French diplomat and his American socialite wife. As her family traveled the globe, Vivian discovered her innate supernatural abilities and taught herself the mystic arts. Taking on the guise of Chaotica, she tested her powers against paranormal predators until she was recruited by the organization The Sworn. And then Hell Witch. It says, the infamous sorceress who would become Hell Witch began as a nameless pit slave, the lowest caste in her hive. Those in her clan were members of the Hellborn, the one true race born in hell, sworn enemies of the fallen and the damned. Through sheer determination, Hell Witch did the impossible. She rose through the ranks of her caste, or chast, I don't know, however the hell you say that, system to become a warrior and eventually challenged the hive's tyrannical queen. Overcoming that challenge was the first step in her evolution from lowly slave to one of the most powerful witches in hell. But that power came with a terrible price. So these are also a little bit more affordable from Executive Replicas as opposed to getting them from Big Bad Toy Store or somewhere else. So happy to add these two badass yet higher priced figures to the collection. So we got Hell Witch and Chaotica from Executive Replicas. They're going to go well with Vampirella and Lady Death, who we already have. And we have Lady Satanis on pre-order, as I mentioned. All right, for this next one, we're going to have to go mobile. Did I do that? We got Steve Urkel from Family Matters, right? One of my buddies was out and about. I think he found this at Jeffrey's Antiques in Lunenburg, Massachusetts, but I'm not positive. But anyways, he passed him on to me. We got Urkel, and he still sort of works. Sounds a little bit like a mouse, but I thought he was too cool to pass up, and he's huge. Got to be like 18 inches tall. So happy to add Urkel to the collection. This past Sunday, we just went to one flea market. We went to the Grafton Flea Market. We got Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. We got Ash. I already have an Ultimate Ash, but I just couldn't pass this guy up. He's too cool looking. So we picked up another Ash from NECA. We also picked up this Mandalorian. I just like the paint apps and paint scheme on him from the Grafton Flea Market as well. And then we picked up quite a few loose 2011 Mattels. They were $5 each at the Grafton Flea Market, or 3 for $10. So we got NWO Wolfpack Kevin Nash. We got Jim the Anvil Neidhart. There was no Bret Hart. Well, the Bret Hart was a basic, so we passed him up. But we got the Anvil as well. We got the Flame version, so I call it the traditional version of Bam Bam Bigelow. And these are all 2011 Mattels. So those three right there were $10. All in fairly good shape. I'm just going to leave it rolling. We got Bradshaw from the APA Acolytes. He's got some red on his marker on his arm here, but I'm just going to pretend it looks like blood. We needed Bradshaw in APA gear to match Farouk that we have in APA gear. So happy to add Bradshaw. We picked up Larry Zbyszko. I did not have a Larry Zbyszko figure, and obviously he was always sort of plain Jane, and here he is plain Jane here, but that's okay. Right, so we got Larry Zbyszko, and then we got another version of Bam Bam in the sort of the black and gray, and those three were 10. So we got 6 elites for $20. Did pick up this Gorn Star Trek figure for $1 whole. I could not pass him up. I don't really have any Star Trek, but I just thought he was pretty cool. And then we got an older Marvel Legend Professor X in the wheelchair. He was like $8, $9. He does come out of the chair, but even though I'm not huge on Marvel, those were pretty cool. Couldn't really resist. Shambles knocked the camera over because I'm trying to go into the bag of goodies from the same guy that we got the Ultimate Ash from. We did pick up the loose T600 from Terminator Salvation. for $5. I didn't figure I could go wrong there. These are all from the Grafton Flea Market. And then we went to the Game Exchange in Wallingford, Connecticut when I was visiting my fiance. And they had some Lucy's for $7 a piece. So we got Elite Series 32 Sin Cara. He's got a little bit of wear on his jacket, but $7. I couldn't pass him up. I didn't have a Sin Cara in the collection, so now we do. We got Elite 27 Fandango. Also did not have Fandango in the collection. Just love this gear. So once again, another figure that I could not pass up. And then you know me and the little people, right? So we got El Torito in brown. We already have him back there as a background fig in red. So here he is in brown. And these, all three of those came from the Game Exchange in Wallingford, Connecticut. And rounding out this week's toy haul, we picked up Zorana. Remember I said last week I got Helix on the cheap. I knew where I could get a Zorana on the cheap, $12. We got her from our buddy, and we're going to use Helix's head that we got last week on this Zorana buck, and we're going to try to see what that looks like. I've seen other people do it. I'm not huge into customizing, but I want to give it a whirl. So we will. But as always, this has been Trolls Toys. I truly appreciate you watching my videos, and we'll see you soon. Peace.